Now let's talk about lead generation, specifically how you're going to go about bringing in potential clients, prospects, leads to your account, into your DMs, and then turning them into paying clients. So let's talk about how to go about it first. Lead generation can be done one of two ways, inbound or outbound. Now, inbound is where leads come to you, outbound is where you go to them. Now, the whole point of this masterclass is so you never have to reach out to someone to try and close them again. So no more outbound. We're going to be focusing on the inbound lead generation side of things. Inbound is basically where a client knows what you do, or they see what you do through content, and then they hit you up asking you for help in terms of services or products. So they come to you. This is obviously miles better than you having to go and ask them. In essence, you create content, and that content attracts prospects. So let's take a look at now why you should be focusing on inbound lead generation over outbound. Here are the benefits. Obviously, the biggest one is trust and authority. Inbound leads, especially from a platform like Twitter or X, often come from users who have seen your content and resonate with it. So this initial trust can significantly expedite the conversion process. The good thing is, when you get one inbound lead, it sets off a chain reaction for more. Higher ROI. Now, inbound leads often have higher conversion rate since they're already interested in you, your content, or your offerings. The effort and the cost associated with converting an inbound lead are typically lower than outbound. Building relationships. Inbound strats revolve around providing value and building relationships, which can then lead to long-term customers and advocate for your brand. And then permission-based. Unlike outbound methods where you reach out unsolicited, inbound leads come to you with a degree of interest and permission, making the engagement more respectful and effective. So here's how to actually go about it. In a nutshell, you attract these inbound leads by posting content that attracts them. You should be using the authority-based content and the technical-based content that we discussed in the content creation module. When you utilize these pieces of content, prospects then start to see what you can offer and how valuable you would be to them. I once posted a thread talking about all the ways I grew my account, and someone DM'd me a few minutes later asking about my services. He then later paid me 12 grand up front. All of that because I posted a technical thread. So pretty much the content you post should be solving your target audience's problems so much that they believe in you enough to do it for them. So here's what you should be doing, minus obviously the content. So presence and consistency. Regularly post valuable content that relates to your niche. Consistency establishes reliability and it keeps you on the audience's radar. Engagement. Engage with industry leaders, potential leads, and anyone who interacts with your posts. This is not only good for increasing your visibility, but it also increases your relationships. And then offer value. So share free resources, tips, insights that would interest your target audience. This will position you as the go-to source in your niche. Now let's talk about content. So what type of content should you be posting to fetch these leads? So we've got 6. We've got educational, value-driven, social proof, promotional, storytelling, and then personal content. And then in the next module or the next lesson, we're going to be talking about competence content and the types of styles and content that you should be posting to bring in these leads. So this is the type of content you should be posting. Competence content is basically social proof, but we'll talk about that in the next lesson because it's a whole different ballpark. So educational content. Infographics. Summarize complex topics in an easily digestible format. Explainer threads. Now break down concepts or issues in a series of tweets. And you can do tips and tricks. So quick, actionable insights that your target audience would find beneficial. Now let's go to value-driven content. This is the top right. Free resources. So share ebooks, guides, articles that would be of interest to potential leads. You can put this as a lead magnet or you can simply just give it away. Webinar announcements too. So use X to promote free webinars or workshops, a direct avenue for lead generation. Social proof. This is basically competence content, but we'll go into competence content more in depth because this is just the surface level of it. So testimonials. So share positive feedback or results from your existing clients or customers. And then case studies. So a deep dive into how your product or service solved the problem or achieved results for a client. Storytelling. Brand story. Share the story behind your brand, the challenges and the victories. It can make your brand more relatable. Customer stories. So narrate how your product or your service made a difference to a customer. Promotional content. So discounts and offers. Promote limited time offers for exclusive deals. Product launches. Announce new products, services or features creating a buzz. And then personal content, which are things like experiences, which is where you show what you personally do that would help solve your audience's problems. And then struggles, which is where you show off your struggles, obviously try and relate them to your audience's problems and show people how you overcame them. That is the content that you should be posting, as well as competence content, which I said we'll talk about in the next lesson. Now let's talk about threads to leads. So you shouldn't just limit yourself to posting content made to generate leads. You can use threads and long forms too. This is how you can turn your average threads into lead generating machines without even meaning to do so. So what I mean is you can post a thread which isn't even meant to generate leads, but the way you structure that thread and the things you talk about in that thread and the CTAs and the endings and stuff like that will just generate leads automatically. Same as long forms. It doesn't even have to be made with the intent of closing leads or generating leads. It's just the elements that you put in, which is what we're about to discuss, will do that for you. So to generate leads from threads or long forms, these are the elements that you should include without having to make them all just, oh, I'm going to post this now to generate leads, if that makes sense. So topic selection. Choose topics that resonate with your target audience and they're related to your offerings. Structure. So start with an engaging headline, have a clear flow, and then end with a CTA or a question to boost the engagement. Visuals. So you can incorporate images, GIFs, or videos to make the thread more engaging. And then engagement, obviously. Engage with all the comments on your thread. It can lead to deeper conversations and potential leads. This is exactly what I did with a thread that I used to close the $12,000 client. I just wanted to tell people how I grew. And then in the end, I just said, if you want me to help you grow, you can. Boom, someone DM me, close them. Now, auto DMs to leads. Now, obviously do this at your own risk, but auto DM giveaways are another great way to get leads by using a simple message to all the traffic you gain along with the giveaway DM. So let's say you do an auto DM giveaway today. You do the usual post and the giveaway message, but in the same DM you send to everyone, you have a lead generation message too. Something that says, so you've got the giveaway part, and then you say, also my friend, and then you talk about the result that you've got with your best client. If you want me to do the same for you, reply to this word with, and then you put like a word that they can reply with. Now that message gets sent to everyone who enters the giveaway. So if it does pop off, you've got potentially hundreds or thousands of warm leads. Then you simply search for the trigger word that you asked them to reply with, and then you get them on a call. Simple. But obviously, again, auto DMs, do so at your own risk because they do technically go against terms of service. And then referrals. So aside from people DMing you, one of the easiest ways to get clients is by having your previous clients send more your way. So getting referrals is a win-win on both sides because you make money and your client gets a percentage of the deal if you close them. Or you can go a step further, be careful if you do this, and give them commission based on every single lead they send you. So this is exactly how you should go about using referrals with your current clients. Incentivize. So offer discounts, freebies, or any other incentives for referrals. Make it an easy process. So ensure the referral process is easy and seamless. The less friction, the better. Acknowledge and thank them. So always acknowledge and thank those who refer to you. This can be a public shout out or a personal note. You can just message them on Telegram or something. It's completely up to you. Monitor and track. So keep track of which referrals convert and try to identify any commonalities. This will help you refine your referral program. So in the next lesson, we're going to talk about competence content, which I sort of touched on with the social proof stuff, but it's such a deeper topic that it needs its own lesson.